are doing is inciting violence, and our people will setting our people up. Oh, yeah, now we are back. And they setting the vibe up. And they will jelly way ball it was soon on age. We do for our up at an court, glory, on the if one day, Sena Habi defend the Hana, about warrior. Now, what will no send no Nigeria corner, lol. Since 2020, Alunine, I na forget on one. Since Impoto, a man Nandi when I talk about mad. I know me and I cook. Since 2020, Kedundin and suffer if I buy. And sometimes some clowns have put on a defend even and I use Sunday Boko, they use Sunday Boko Haram to equate with what this clown have set our people up for. Now, Ogafa people. And I have not seen Sunday Boko do this kind of thing on the Yorubas. The Boko Haram is already around, rampaging and ravaging everybody in their own way with their religious, whatever the inclination or whatever belief system, they are doing whatever they are doing. And then if you look at it again, Boko Haram, which are this be available, or when you can, oh, look at him or Chimezie, I don't know if you guys don't see that, or you don't have the discerning spirit to watch those videos and pick up information from them. These are the people that Nigeria had come out publicly in the public domain to say that they are reabsorbing them into Nigerian army. Then, and they have the right to become the president of Nigeria. And people are watching them say these things. And what is happening? They recruit Umu Okorobia, Ejebu. So, Nnamdi Kanu, Nigeria. He works for Nigeria. He's working for Nigeria to make sure they eliminate a lot of us. And the future goal or their long-term goal is that when they want to run over the land, nobody will resist them. So he's not doing the point is that the people who are supposed to call him out are out there supporting him. And these are the people that are supposed to speak on behalf of the people if they are really representing the people. I have called their names here. Have you seen Rochas Okoracha telling this the senior president that he must send this message to release him and they can otherwise don't you guys see these things? So Rochas Okoracha, a lot of youths may respect Nimo State. What do you think that will be going on in the minds of these young people when Russia Sokolocha can come out publicly to make that demand? In other words, it translates to na even so many of them. Obinna agụọcha ka gịnị ka na-akpọ ya ọ pụta ọ na-ebe ihe ọma ha na-eme enwekwu nke si Amerịka ya kịta alụnwa ya bụ apụta eme introduce na social media na onye a bụ American veteran, people that served in the army here. Now he's there in solidarity or even, showing his face. What do you think that will be going in the minds of these people? No, no, Sonia, Indiana, for one. What do you think? Finance, the problem of Wuka, see America, the labor, the support, and even they made them. Do you see that? So, and with so many people that are working against the land, Obro so na the can onwe ndị okwu ya n'azụ. Ife niile kịta na-amagharị in the name of IPOB. None of them were here when the family was grown in the name of a peaceful, agitation for the freedom of the people. None of them were here. All these people, they were all hired and paid. And if you look at the funding right now, you think is this $150? With $100 and for that thing they want because now they have currency. You think is that funding that is doing all this damage? Then you must be joking. Another thing that the latest one now, some of you may have seen. I think some of you have seen their latest what is it called? The press release. I've forgotten if I did yet. They started out like soft. Go in the meat of that press release. You see clear cut threats. And a threat in that day, these fools, and where you know. But guess what? Because they are working in concert with the Nigerian government, will be backed up by the so-called security agencies. And I'm telling you this because I know what they are doing to our people. I know what they are doing to our people. Had you gone on so many times, what is the square mileage of an southeast? How many hours could you take it to go from one end to the other? Not to talk of money, but no one else and the one on a valley for 4 years. And systematically eliminating our young men and women. Onye na-enye ya apụta na Abuja and they promote ya as ọrụ na-ekwu ndị Igbo. You see what they are doing in court. Shamelessly or shamefully, I would say. Apụta na-promote, including the judge. Say no na alụ one the buy all. And then mkpọtụ gọvanọ threat. Nke ndị Boko Haram mere ụbọchị onwe onye nụrụ ụbọchị egburu ekwu maka ya. Mana ndị agha bịa threaten ha. Ha mechaa alụlụ a na-ahapụ ndị amị Nigeria bịa clean it up the innocent citizens. Unu aghọtara na Nnamdi Kanu bụ Nigeria ka ọ na-alụlụ ọrụ. Are you hoping to get it? I had somebody say political solution. What kind of political solution? In favor of who? Then political solution will make sense. It's not a political solution. What kind of politics is that? So you gotta think more than what we are right now looking at, so you can see exactly what is happening. No The other day I advised him, because you're gonna see how this thing ends. Then you can understand that my assumption is 100%. I will leave it for now. Like I said sometimes, you wait that. Monday, you went in on a sinahane represent I. Bachanya, na pitokoya. Na Fabonde, na Lualwana. I'm going to make Missy. I think, I hope I have the means to deal directly with this issue. And it will be over one day. Let me let it go for now. There one.
Okay. Okay,
I
thank
have
you.
a
Thank you.
question.
I see Hans. Yeah. Okay, Grandmaster, go on.
All right,
Go
thank
on,
you,
Grandma.
Nanye Obidi Obienu. Ekene Kwam Yudo. I'll just offer to come change again, I'll just chop it again, it was a lot, but I'm very baffled and confused by your submission because I still find it difficult to understand where you stand on issues, but it's fine. I think that is your own, understanding of things. But EMCHGO, in your bio, you have the IPOB Biafran flag, but your submission contradicts, you know, you in the sense that you say or you claim that Nnamdi Kanu is an agent of Nigerian government. Can you explain to us or clarify to us where exactly you stand on this? Because I see you were criticizing, you know, um,
Ask your question, brother. Don't mobble up the issue. Ask your question so I can answer you.
yes, that's what I'm asking now. If you would let me ask you the question. I'm trying to
Okay.
give you some, yes, I'm trying to, make it a little bit, understandable for the audience to know exactly why I'm asking this question, right?
Okay.
But if you
Let
want
me.
to
It's okay. I got you. Let me answer the question.
calm down, sir, please.
Okay.
I'm not
I'm
done.
telling you because if you mumbling and submission and asking question and submission, then it sets me to confusion, just like you said.
All right, fine. Sorry about
Okay.
that. Just let me conclude my question. All right, allow me to ask the question the way I want to ask the question. So, what I'm saying is this: please clarify for us or to us where you stand on issue. You seem to be sitting on the fence or standing on both sides of the of the issue. Please, thank you. That's what I wanted to know.
Thank you for the question. Interesting. My brother, up to tomorrow, I don't subscribe to Nigeria, a country that wanted me dead. Just like some of my colleagues that are there that are being killed for nothing. I don't subscribe to being a Nigerian. Okay, and there's nothing wrong in people choosing who they are. I am a Biafran, put it that way. Okay, it doesn't matter, and I'm not supporting this foolishness that is going on in our land right now. And if I say I'm a Biafran, it's my choice. It's my
Okay,
choice.
thank you, thank you. So, just a moment. I'm not done with the question, sir. Please, with all due respect, sir, let me just ask a little bit more question, right? Okay, so let me. I understand that you don't belong to any of the organizations, neither to the IPOB or the BRGIE or the USB. Fine. Okay, it is okay. Um, why, if I may ask?
Wait,
Yeah.
Grandmaster. You don't know Obidi. Obidi used to be an IPOB member, the coordinator in charge of the whole of America.
All right, fine. I'm just asking as somebody who is not. I'm not.
He used to be a member until they fall apart. He fall out with Nnamdi Kanu's modus
Okay,
operandi.
fine. That is fine.
So you
That is
can know.
fine. That is
Yeah.
fine. I want to just ask him a question as somebody who has never met him before, and I enjoyed the submission, but I was a little bit confused. So, sir, my next question is this: you say you're a Biafran. That is fine. But what Biafra are you speaking about specifically? Because if I remember vividly, the person who led the Biafra as a country then, Ojukwu, has already told us that Biafra is over. It is time to forge ahead as Ndibo. Is there any other Biafra that I'm not aware of? Or is there something you can maybe explain to us that we do not know? Thank you.
When I came out for the journey, we came out for restoration of Biafra. There was a Biafra that existed between 1967 to 70, which folded back into Nigeria with the promise of 3 R's: the reconciliation, rehabilitation, and reintegration. And after the end of the war, people went back, they were integrated, but they were not rehabilitated. And so many things happened. But remember, from 1970 to 1999, there was no issue about Biafra because we were all treated equally. Everybody was going about their businesses, no problem, nothing. Everything was okay. I can go to Lagos and stay, and nobody will come and tell me to pack your load and go home. Or somebody can, discriminate what we are seeing today, that is happening in Nigeria. So that same Biafra you think that Ojukwu led, Ojukwu stood up for the people and they came up with the name Biafra. Okay? That Ojukwu may have a different idea. When we came out to use the same name and get what rightfully belongs to us. Since the people that claims they speak for us is not speaking. That's the idea. That's why I said it's legitimate until Nnamdi Kanu and his cohorts decided to fold us back into Nigeria. If you recall, there was an incident that happened in Germany because at that time we were ready to deal with all these people that claim that they are representing us, who are not representing us. And that incident was with this man that was caught that is now in jail for taking people's organ. IPOB dealt with him extensively in Germany. TBK Amechi was spotted in Spain, and he was lucky he escaped. Some of these governors were openly challenged here. Obiano came to a convention here. He didn't have it smooth. That was the idea, to confront these people that said they are representing us, to do the right thing. All of a sudden, we didn't know that the struggle was hijacked. Now he started making a sole decision. He started meddling with the same politicians we are angry with. And they started giving him handouts and monies and everything. That's when his head was blown off. That's when he became the God who can give life and take life. And by the way, this ESN, Nnamdi Kanu could have not sponsored this ESN without the consent of some of these criminals hiding in the name of politicians. Until they say the truth, the land will be free. If not, it's going to be worse than this. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay,
Up,
Grand, you can,
up,
yeah,
up,
Grand, you have a
go ahead. Go ahead,
Yeah,
General.
I actually I'm left more confused than I was initially because I would expect that because sir, you sound like very intellectual person that when you call yourself a Biafran, you will be able to prove to me what country is Biafra and where I can find that country on the map. And secondly, you wouldn't say that Biafra, you know, was forced back into Nigeria. Biafra surrendered. It was rightfully brought to an end. The country called Biafra ended. Ojukwu himself confirmed it. So I would like to know which other Biafra they are trying to resurrect. And lastly, there's the word you used that if something is not done, it will be worse than it is today. I see that more as a threat than actually just something that somebody just threw out there. Maybe if there's something that we may need to know, what you mean by is going to be worse than it is. Maybe you can explain to us. Because one thing I'll promise you is that Ndi Igbo, we are not going back anymore to this whole thing. That's just it. Thank you.
Okay. I don't know why you're getting confused. And this is why I call the whole situation a dilemma. Because some of you are taking the surface of what you are looking at and then not using I mean, add a little bit of intuition, you understand where I stand for. And I'm not threatening nobody. I'm saying to us, if we must tell ourselves the truth, okay? The players of what is happening in our land today, most of whom are these so-called politicians, they must come out truth. That's all I said. Unless it's going to be worse. My brother. If you think that in the oh governor, when you say Igbo don't like this thing, but meanwhile, even the Igbo came when they say wow, that's what I'm telling you. I'm not threatening you that I'm going to bring a jet tomorrow or declare Biafra tomorrow. I just want, for now, it's a shame for me to be identified as a Nigerian, looking at everything that is happening in that country. The bad name and everything, how they have subdued and everything. And I don't want to answer that. I'm not bringing a fighter tomorrow. You won't see me saying that. But what I'm saying to us, ndị Igbo must tell themselves the truth. If I na-emezikwana ihe a bụ mkparị, ọ bụrụ na ị ghọtara na a na-akparị ndị Igbo using Nnamdi Kanu, you must understand that. If I na-apụta na court na-promote, ọ bụ etu a ka court processes si adị. If you're charging somebody that you say is a terrorist. I don't know if you understand it. So I don't know, I have put more confusion to you. But sit down a little bit and think about some of the things I say here. Then there's no confusion in what I'm saying. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. I think let's go to metaphor. I think we go to metaphor, then we take Michael, then OGB network. Metaphor, you have the mic. Thank you.
Hustling, I wanted to ask a question first before it turns around to me, to Obidi.
Okay, oh yeah, go on with your question. Go on. Sorry, metaphor.
Obidi, daalụkwa, ịma na ya amabụgolu mbụ. Ya amabụgolu ebe a mbụ. So, mkpọ gị ụsọsọ Obidi, ewekwana iwe nna m. Na ọkụ si Adam n'ọnụ na ọnụ ndị be anyị. It's I don't need to explain why they are not going to bring in weapons or fighter jets. But often it's not Biafra you believe in, and then you're looking at Biafra coming and things might get worse. What are you proposing then? There's only two options to get a country, to secede from a country. What option? One of the options is not in any way visible through a referendum. The other one is through war. You don't have any means to referendum as it is now. So what other option are you asking for? Thank you.
Thank you so much. Referendum are the one easy. But the point is that the group of people that wants Biafra must tell themselves the truth. You don't know how much of effort we have made here earlier before this guy decided to hijack everything and take us back to our vomits. You don't. Now, you see, the type of person I am, I don't go back to my vomit. I detest Nigeria as it stands today. What I can offer right now is continue to talk to our people to come back to their senses. Because right now there's a lot of confusion.
If they come back to their senses to do what?
The senses,
in getting Biafra?
let me tell you, Michael, there are so many countries that got their independence. There are so many people that got what they're looking for. Either, put a pressure for the government still in to bring in a better governance, or what people call the good governance or something like that. Okay? Whereby there's no room for none of these things. I don't want to be called as Nigerian. How many times have you heard about the regional or the autonomous, what do you call them? They are talking about the devolution of powers. How many times have you heard about it? How many times have you had people calling for to come back to the table? You hear not just me talking about it. so many Nigerian elites are calling for that, but some of them are so scared to death to talk about this constitution that is not Nigerian constitution, but rather imposed on Nigerians, which is primarily the problem that we have today. Okay, how many times have you heard about that? That you know the confab when 2014, is it 2014? Was basically after the confab, and we have a lot of Igbo people that went up there to say they're in the confab, some of whom were sleeping over there. That confab after 100 years of Nigerian existence. Okay, there are so many things that can be done to Nigeria today. You can call everybody together and sit on the table and decide how we're going to forge ahead in this country if we ever want to be a country. There's so many things, but the faith, they say, coming by hearing. What can I do now myself alone, that is also seen as a saboteur for Biafrans? I'm a saboteur. I'm a sellout. I took money and betrayed Biafrans. This is what is going on. So that I hear when I'm making programs that you see them coming to write garbage. So I cannot do anything by myself other than do little things that I'm doing right now. For instance, there is this event we're holding, which is a very nice thing. And we talked about it, about the Biafra Genocide Memorial Day. That's where I'm starting again. To even educate my children, educate the people that are coming behind us. Because in this Remembrance Day, lies very important things. In this Remembrance Day, we can tell our story as it is. In this Remembrance Day, we can reflect back and see what we are doing wrong. In this Remembrance Day, we can teach our children that taking up arms for something you can do legally, that you don't need to pick up arms to do something you can do legally. Okay? Because it's not only us that is looking for freedom. I heard you say that Nigeria has no this and that in their constitution. Nigerian constitution is a fraud, Michael. That's why
So what are
sometimes
we going to do about it? We have a National Assembly, they've not been able to change it.
that's because they're holding you down. Ndị praise are holding you down. They don't care.
And what are you praise? I don't get your solution, that feasible solution. Okay,
The
let's look at it this
solution
way.
is re-education.
Let me divert a little bit. Look at it this way. If
Michael,
tomorrow,
let me give you one word because it appears that all these sidebars in it here are they make sense. The solution now is re-education of our people.
to do
Okay,
what? Re-educate them to do what?
to ask for their rights. If that sounds right to you, it's a human right. Nigeria is abusing our human rights in any form.
How are we going to ask? You are educating me now. Let's assume I'm one of your children. You are educating me. How are we going to fight for that our right if those that we have at the National Assembly cannot put up the supposed right that we are being denied? Of how are we going to ask for our rights? And what is that right we are asking for? To be allowed to secede from the country?
Okay, you asked me a double question. First of all, if you don't know what you're asking for, then you don't even be a participant. You
No,
cannot absorb the
I want an
education.
equitable Nigeria, but I don't
Michael,
want secession.
no, but I'm saying something, you are jumping. It's very difficult for me to educate somebody that has already a mindset of their own. Okay, there's so many education that we go on for people to stand for their right. Michael, are you appreciating the police put on a checkpoint or posting on our phone? Such ya, single zell, Abrozel can use no, can even have an awareness now by POS. I now appreciate if a police
No,
not jamming
all
a
those
Benjamin
ones are wrong. All those ones are wrong, but it's not
Okay,
a stand
how
or
many times?
reason for
Hold on,
protection.
hold on. How many times can Nigerian IGP or whatever the Inspector General of Police have come out to say that no police will do that to the people? And then the next thing you have for police, what would you man na that's checkpoint? Okay, so what are you not seeing? Do you know that people have the rights to education? And these people are sitting up in Abuja and denying the citizens. Do you know that people have the rights to job? Go to read up about human rights, fundamental human rights. Like I said, unless you are a subhuman, then you will not know that your rights are being abused. And that's where we need to start because you just asked me a question and asked me what rights. That tells me that you are comfortable with what you are doing today. And that is the problem. When somebody is
Ogobili,
telling you,
Ogobili,
when somebody is saying there's
Ogobili.
deficiency,
In the America that you live, I assume that you're a citizen. There are police corruption. They have their police corruption.
no, no, no.
They have their people with that job. Not all the children they go to school.
Onye gwara.
Not all.
Ege
From
ya
what
esiwe
I
nọ
know.
na n'ife nwa amalife nzu n'olu. Onye gwara.
And I
I'm
don't
not
know
even,
any family.
please
I
don't
don't know
even,
any family got
please,
Nigeria. Now, I need buy him
Michael,
for the America. I
Michael,
don't come sure.
Michael, please don't compare here with what is
I'm
happening.
not comparing them.
Don't
I'm trying to
even,
tell you that no place is the heaven that
no,
we are hoping for.
no, don't even, because the next thing you're going to tell me is that America has been here for how many years now? Okay, that's what you're going to tell me. But you forgot that as you are now, as we're on this platform, is about technology. That's why we have moved forward. Okay, so you don't have to wait as far as 240 something years America have waited to develop a little bit of thing, to have a little bit of change as a human being. You know, if you remember about 40 years ago, ndị si obodo oyibo nata a na-agbafa nkiri maka ha mụtara ife ndị mmadụ amụọ n'aka fa kịta anụnwa ụlọ bụ ndị nọ n'ụlọ bụzi ndị na-akụziri anyị nwa onye ege ntị maka na ije onye njepụ ka a sị ka onye okenye isi ewo nọ n'ụlọ mma. That's what I'm telling you. You don't know what I enjoy here.
And then, my dear, I've traveled almost around the globe.
Mana ị mara ife na-eme n'obodo ọ bụrụ ịgbabagoro anya kịta.
Michael, I
Wait
think
now,
some
wait,
people are
Ikenga,
waiting.
wait.
Some
Michael,
people hands are up. They have to
yeah.
I
speak.
know.
Michael, ọ bụrụ ịgbabagoro anya naba, you don't understand what is going on there.
Gị ga-abịa ọnwe ndị nchepụ na-atụ ego enye Nnamdi Kanu ọ ndị a ga-amụrụ ihe n'aka ha abi.
Na-ege
Wait,
ntị ka ngwa.
Mr. Michael, can I just ask him a couple of questions,
Let me
please?
tell you this.
Mr.
O nwere
Obidi,
onye
Mr.
na-ekwu na
Obidi, please, can I
nwa.
ask you just a couple of questions, please?
Wait a minute, let me land
No,
before you
no,
ask.
hold on. You've been speaking for so long. Let's engage you, please. Let's so you don't just lecture
If
us,
I
okay?
if how can you cut me
Can
off
we ask
after
you
I just
questions,
asked you?
Grandmaster,
please?
grandmaster, wait. Grandmaster, no need to wait. I want metaphor to speak. Then,
Because
um,
Ikenga, before I met our guy, because just a short question.
Ikenga, let us give a little bit minute for back and forth. Then we'll circle back to metaphor. If I think that would be better. Grand, I mean, you guys should wrap it up. So we circle back. Thank you.
Okay, no, I don't have a.
Grand, you have them. Go on. I think maybe
All right,
that's a
Meta,
double
please just
minute
give me
to Meta.
just. I need just like a minute or maybe 1 hour, 1 minute 30 seconds. Mr. OBD, I can tell from the way you speak, you live in one of the advanced countries out there, so you understand process. All right. The question I want to ask is: do you understand the process to self-determination? Number two, is it that every time you feel slighted by how things are run in a country, Instead of you to demand for a better leadership, is the next option for you to secede from that country? These are the two questions I have for you. Thank you.
Mazi, I don't know if you are there.
Is he
Mazi
still
Obi.
there?
I'm here. I'm here. I'm sorry. I didn't know I was on mute. Yeah, I say thank you for the question. And it's a good question. And I'm going to go straight away to let you know that I understand processes. And one of the fundamental processes is education first. Okay, whereby you are trying to teach and there are disruptive students. There's going to be chaos. But because the problem I am with today, but nobody wants to listen. Everybody have their idea. Okay, and that's why I emphasize on the issue of starting with this memorial to bring us back together. By the way, that memorial is one of the things because he had Ayaka, yeah, but one of the things in the so-called apex cultural should be championing, and the call for that memorial or that remembrance day is not a call for war. Like I mentioned earlier, it's a call for reflection, a call to talk to ourselves, give us the history, a call to of what has happened in the past. Okay, so that's what I'm trying to tell you. That I'm back now to start re-educating. Okay, now for the other one that you talk about grievances, do we have to start reacting immediately? My brother, that's an overstatement because Nigeria has been doing all manner of things. There has been efforts to change it. If you change it, they will jump on you. You witnessed what happened in election 2023. This is the most recent one, whereby these guys, the current, you are current minister of Abuja territory. You saw what he did in River State. You saw in Lagos State where they denied us. They denied us of our franchise. They didn't want us to vote. Somebody came out threatening us, and they killed a lot of people. I don't know, are we blinded to this truth that you are not even allowed as a Nigerian? Are you blinded to this truth? That you are not even a Nigerian, in as much as you force yourself to be one. You are not respected, you are not accepted. Okay, why are we all devastated and scattered all over the world?
Sir, you're not answering my question, but it's fine. You didn't even answer a single
I
question,
answered
sir.
your question. I don't know what you're looking
You
for.
know answer them. Just leave them. You know you didn't answer
You
it.
see,
Let's not
that's
just
that's
move it to
what
meta beg. You didn't answer my question.
I've just answered your question,
You
but
did
for
not answer
whatever
my question,
reason,
Oga. If you want, I can explain
Obi,
to you
you
what my
did not
question
answer
was.
it. He was,
You didn't
he
answer
was
my
asked
question.
the process, not
the
about education
process,
or your right to education.
Michael
The process is
process,
getting your Biafra.
Michael, process, one of the process, fundamental process is education. Mani ụmụaka na-ege ntị, kedu ife ihe eme? Kedu ife ihe eme? Ọ ihe njụ ya. One of the fundamental processes is education. Okay, so what do you want me to say? You say I didn't answer your question because you want me to come and tell
I,
you how we can
I
go. Hold on,
I
hold
assume he
on,
was
hold on.
asking you the normal process to go about getting your Biafra. If you're talking about getting the people educated, what kind of other education? Telling them about the Biafran war?
No, Michael, him and I do now. All that somehow. And sometimes it's, I don't even know how to respond to you because you already have a mindset. And I can tell you, Michael, Nigeria is not favoring you. It's not favoring you as I speak right now. You are just. I had it the other day, and I said, no, if there's a missing discussion, you will just submit here. Yeah, no, no, I'm a cable. Or if you
Yeah,
are
Michael. Michael na-alụlụ ndị obi ekele.
Nnụnụ mgba maka ọ bụ ya bụ ọlụ Michael.
Asụda gịnị chekwala ka mbọta nke ikwu bifo ngwara gị bara egwu.
Michael anọ n'ebe Michael asị ka m kwuo ife m kwuru ka m kwuo ife m kwuru. Michael ka m kwukwa ife m kwuru ka ihe ghọta ife m kwuru. Ọnwụbasị m nọ ebe a na-ege ntị. I wee sị na ife ị na-alụ n'ọnụ ka o si pụta. Na ife ị na-alụ ọ bụ ịbịasịa na program a ebe iwelusie na live ya jezie submit ya. Mgbe na-eji ọnụnụ mgba maka ịbụ.
Ụgwa ka nzara gị ihe m kwuru. Na-egere m ntị ihe m kwuru ọfụma ka na ghọta m. Ihe m gwara unu bụ na program nke m na-eme ma nke nna nke anụ mee ma nke ndị ọzọ na-eme concerning this issue na-enwere ndị na-ege ya ha ga-esikwa ya analyze kwa ya ma nke anyị nwa mbel ma nke nna nke anụ mee enwekwanụ nke anyị mere n'Igbo na ọnwekwanụ ndị ọ bụ ọrụ ha translate ya n'ọnụ achọ ka anụ ya ịghọtago ọ bụrụ ikpe ọmụ nnụnụ mgba ama eso m
Ikenga nsị n'ọgụ maka ọ gwara ife a ịjụrụ ya ajụjụ ọ gwaghị ife a nkwu ịma ara m asị nwa asị kịta ọ gọbago
ị nwetara ihe m kwuru ọfụma asịrị gị na ị na-asị asị ikpe ọmụ nnụnụ mgba ama sị gị na abụ m nnụnụ mgba ama nsogbu adịrọ
kedu ka m ma-esi kụziri nnụnụ mgba ama ebe ọ na-ebe chọchọ na klaasị
ana m agwa ụwa ihe na-eme enwere chọchọ biko nye ndị ọzọ baịkị ka ha kwuo anyị ga-abịakwa back to this.
Okay, yeah, I think we will circle back.
Alulu with DSS and Benjamin Bo informant. So both of them are.
Okay, anyway, let's go to metaphor, please. Thank you. Metaphor, you have the mic. We can't hear you. Ikenga, can you hear Metaphor?
No, I can't hear you more.
Okay, I think he dropped. Okay.
Network, so even obedient, obedient. Who was okay? Was not able network.
OGB, go on. After you go to Michael.
Okay. Good day, everybody.
Yeah, OGB, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening, everybody from here. All the honorable speakers. I'm very happy if I join this parliament.
OGB, where we should join? Where we should join?
I'm going to
Oh, one of them. You can't go. Hold on. Let me greet my brother. What are you saying? What are you doing here? I gotta be very
So I have a question for Ikenga Orago. Ikenga Orago, please, I really need this answer because before I continue my opinion here. Because last time I will follow you since 2022, I be 2023. I will follow you on Facebook when you answer the special one. So then I come on Twitter, I see you again, I see the topic already changed. I'm so happy for that. But Ikenga, since topic changed, have you ever in the past or before now apologized to Igbo people? Because the last time I checked, you are a member of IPOB, and IPOB was proscribed in Nigeria. IPOB is a terror group, and last time I checked, you are a member of the terror group. Now the topic have changed. You are sounding different. Now I'm seeing you as an Igbo man, not a Biafra. Because if you ask me, I don't know the meaning of Biafra. I am Igbo man and in Nigeria. But since your topic changed, have you ever in the past or before now apologized to Igbos for what for the role you play in IPOB, for your
Excuse
contribution?
me, sir. Excuse me, sir. Mr. OGB, right? I
Yeah,
don't know if I'm saying it right. Okay.
yeah.
Before you continue, I don't know. You said that you've been following him. If you are following him, you will see that he has made several videos
Sorry,
apologizing.
sorry. I
So we
say
can't.
sorry, sister. Sorry, I say I unfollow him on Facebook since 2023 when he's answering the special one. But I just see him on Twitter recently and start following, see the topic of change, start following him,
Okay,
see everything.
that's why
So
I'm
I
okay.
don't know if I've apologized. That's what I'm saying. If he apologized, I want to know if you have apologized in the past so that I will know before I continue.
Yes, he apologized many times. As a matter
Then
of
if you
fact, he
have
had up to three.
then
Hold
if you
on.
have apologized, if I've apologized, you can go that God bless you.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Because the reason I called in is because I hate when people come to attack him or that or ask him
I'm
questions about that. We
no
keep
no
repeating it, you
no
know.
no I'm not attacking him. I just want to know because I haven't here. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
I've
know whether
informed you now. I just informed you, sir. I said that he did that. He
and I
had
say
up to 5 videos or 4 videos on that. Thank you. Go ahead, sir.
and I say God bless him for that. Then my opinion in this matter all about anything my opinion about Biafra. I think if you both continue saying Biafra, the only result we will get about Biafra is dead. Until we realize that Ojukwu made a mistake, was Rike made a mistake, Nnamdi Kanu made a mistake. Even let's start off from Aguiyi made a mistake by bringing Nigeria through federalism. Sorry, from through federalism to central system of government. Igbo people have made a mistake a lot.
That is a lie. He did not bring Nigeria into a central system of government. That is something that is often being misconstrued. What he did was to unify the civil service. The regional government was still very much intact. Just wanted to correct that. Thank you.
Okay, I'm stand to be corrected if I made a mistake. But that
You've
one
been
not be.
corrected. You have actually been corrected. Go and check your
Okay.
distinct record.
What
Thank you.
what I'm trying to say is that the best thing Igbo people can demand in Nigeria and make Igbo great is through federalism. Let's go back to regional government. Nigeria is not bigger than China. Nigeria is not bigger than India. I don't know where we are trying to succeed to Biafra. Biafra is not up to 70 million. We are saying we are 70 million. We are not up to 70, but there is a country that is up to 1 point something billion. Please. If like you guys are dragging with Obit since over 30 minutes or 1 hour. I don't see any difference between Obit and Nnamdi Kanu. Sorry, Daddy, now I say this. What if you have that mindset of Biafra? They're asking you what is the way out to get the Biafra. You are telling education. Which kind of what type of education are you talking about? I don't know kind of what I don't know. I don't really know. But anybody that's singing or saying anything about Biafra, I'm just seeing the person as the thorough. Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, LGB. MG, Idan.
Hustling, Biko, can I just add something to this? So that we can actually educate people in the house. Because even when I get just 2 minutes. The last speaker, sorry that I had to budge in that way, but I feel like yes, it's not every one of us that knows history. You understand? But truthfully speaking, I will never equate whatever Ojuku went through with whatever these guys are doing today. For me personally, it doesn't equate or correlate. These were two different instances, two different events in history, right? So, whatever happened with Biafra, Ojuku's Biafra, is a different discussion to be had. We cannot equate it to the IPOB. IPOB is a different organization altogether, different objective, because they tack on the name Biafra or try to use Ojuku, you know, as a kind of a figurehead for the agitation. It does not mean that there's any correlation between what they are doing today and Ojuku. I just wanted to just correct that. Thank you very much.
Biko ọ sị ma brọda enwere m ajụjụ anọ m n'iro mana enwere ya agba hapụ etu a ọ dịghị nga fọrọ nke ọ bụrụ eziokwu biko ọ bụrụ enye m ụbọchị dị ka njụ ajụjụ a.
To who? Who are you directing your question to?
Oke hụ na ewe n'iwe ma brọda kwuru okwu kịta ma na ọ gbadago ịma iyi kwuru na Chinonso kwuru one day agwara m ya ka o si wee dum n'obi and I will say this again biko iyi na-akọ na Ojukwu mee mistake na-akọwalụ m ọfụma ka amaka nsi ebe gị mma gwa m that mistake ife mere.
The mistake I mean by Rojuku made a mistake is that I think is a pride, because when according to the history, that's after the meeting in Abraham Accord. Then they said that when you go to Nigeria, you should not make any brokers. Immediately before you land, immediately you land, you start making a brokers. And that led to what? To care about 3 million Igbos. I don't know whether the number is
Wow,
correct.
this your history just in Naibuli and Kenke where. Hey, now official Ikenga, I know this is not the space for this, but I think I'm in mood to educate
Yeah,
people
yeah.
actually,
Anyway,
but maybe I can just leave
go,
it for
go,
another
go,
time.
Go ahead now.
Grand, go ahead and
All right, my brother.
go ahead and
My brother,
just go
Ibuloko
when
and
you.
Keke too much, and it doesn't tell the real picture of what happened in that
But
time
tell us
frame
the full
period.
story now.
Okay, thank you. Let me explain the full story to you. So, the full story started on January 15, 1966. There was a coup, all right?
Yeah.
The coup was stopped by me to Mike because just saying I'm ad lib. When I'm done, if you have a question, you can ask me. So, there was a coup. The coup was stopped at the end by Ojuku and Aguiyi. My brother, me to go the mic because no name Musobo. Thank you. So now after that, yeah, you said mistake Aguiyi Melo. No. After Aguiyi took power, there was a unitary government, yes, because that is how the military operates. But the regions were operational. The four regions were still in existence. Okay? And the four regions still handle the affairs, including the eastern region, which Ojuku was the military governor of. Right? Now, there was a counter coup that happened in July of 1966 that killed Ironsi and a lot of Igbo officers. This counter coup led to a pogrom. A pogrom meant that Igbo and other Easterners were being killed in the north. And this prompted Ojuku to reach out to Gowon and ask him to call the military to order and end the pogrom. He could not stop the pogrom, and Ojuku asked the Easterners to start returning to the east. Right? The Easterners continued pouring into the east as refugees after losing their properties, but still, there was still, tension. Ojuku could not possibly attend the SMC meeting, the Supreme Military Council meeting that used to hold in Lagos, because the northern soldiers were threatening to kill any Igbo officer. And Ojuku, being the highest ranking officers of Igbo extraction, could not have risked it going to Lagos. So for that, they had to reach an agreement to discuss the issue of the refugees pouring to the east and their rehabilitation. And that agreement was reached with the then military leader of Ghana, and they met in Aburi, outside Nigeria. That was why they now had the Aburi Accord. I will not bore you guys with the details of the Aburi Accord. If you want to read it, just simply search it. You see the details. But when they go back to Nigeria, it has nothing to do with any broadcast. Okay? When they got to Nigeria, there was a man called Prince Akenzwa. Okay? He's a prince of the Benin Kingdom who was the head of the, I think it was either the head of civil service or one of the top civil servants as of then, who approached Gowon and then asked him to renege on the Aburi Accord. That he is the head of state. He should not be negotiating with the Ojukwu. So after he reneged, this led to edict and counter edict. If I'm not mistaken, that was a decree 18, right? And everything that followed, where they were literally, blocking each other from certain things. Ojukwu refused to repatriate the, proceeds of the resources coming from the eastern region. You understand? And then at the end of the day, it led to the entire Aburi we stand. On Aburi we stand was literally the Eastern government asking the Gowon-led Nigeria to honor the agreement of Aburi. This chant continued up until May 27, 1967, when the Eastern Assembly, comprising of all the provinces of the Eastern region, reached a consensus that since the killings and the pogroms have not stopped, and that the Gowon-led Nigeria was still not, going back to the agreement reached in accord, that they were going to pass a resolution for the secession of the Eastern region from Nigeria. And that was passed on the 27th of May. On the same 27th, Gowon created instantly, the same 27th in the afternoon, divided the regions and created 12 states. That's in 27th, as a reaction to the impending secession of the eastern region, in order to weaken this eastern region and stop their secession. More states were created. Out of the regions, 12 came. But on 30th, the secession was completed. The eastern region declared their secession from Nigeria and continued like normal until the 7th of July 1968, when the Nigerian troops went to the mountains of Bekwara in Cross River and started firing artillery into the Biafran territory. That is just a short synopsis of what happened. So I think you can make out of this event what you will. If you want, you can go and research more for yourself. But I just gave you a short story of what happened then. Thank you very much.
Okay,
Una,
Grandmaster,
for the
thank you.
short
Yeah,
history.
Grandmaster, thank you. Now, OG net. I want me to OGB. Now, from
Mazi, hold on. Maxi TV, hold on. We don't. Anyway, Sha, I will allow you to engage a little bit because we have a metaphor and other people
No, 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 no,
waiting
no,
up.
no, no, no. Benjamin, metaphor. I've been waiting now. I've been waiting.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying actually, so that we can quickly move to metaphor. Maxi, just can you give us a little bit of time so we will circle back to this particular topic. Metaphor, you have the time. Go on.
Okay, guys, thanks for giving me the mic. I'm sort of traveling right now,
Sorry,
but
metaphor. Let me correct myself. I said July 7, 1968. Sorry, it's July 7, 1967. I beg. Go ahead.
that's okay. That's okay, Grandmaster. In fact, Grandmaster, I didn't even think that you needed to break down all that narration. Look, I think uh, a lot of Nigerians don't understand the difference in the circumstances that were prevailing at each time. And I'll try to clarify that very quickly. Firstly, that was the first republic where Nigeria was sort of divided into regions. So, and under the doctrines of the First Republic Constitution, those regions were identified to an extent by their ethnics. So, uh, um, under those kind of circumstances, a region can actually decide to start the process of succession. Let me quickly clarify something. Succession is a process, it is not a right. Self determination is a right, it is not a process. These are two different definitions, really. And that's why self determination is enshrined in law and international law. Succession is not, because succession is a process of withdrawing from something that you are a part of. If that thing has made it clear in their code of conduct or in their laws or in their rules that all the members of that association can withdraw. So the withdrawing is the process of succession. The withdrawing is basically succession. Yeah. So if there is a whole and the whole is divided into sections, and that divide is clarified in the whole regulation or laws or statutes and all that, then one can start the process of leaving that whole if they don't want to be a part of that whole anymore. So that process of leaving the whole or withdrawing from the whole is called succession. Yeah, that is not a right, a natural right. That is not a right at all. It is a right that could be given to you as a member of that whole if it is defined in their regulation. Okay, but self-determination is a natural right that is given to every natural human being or group of human beings. Yeah, so that means that uh, a group of human beings can decide, even in a whole, to self-determine themselves, and that will be protected by international law immediately. Okay, but let me just quickly also say this, that I will not discuss sub judice. In my profession, we don't discuss sub judice at all. We don't discuss, I will not discuss sub judice. The only thing I would say is that self-determination is your right. Succession, if it is defined in the association of, that whatever you are part of, that, then it's a process that you must follow. For instance, Britain was a member of the European Union, and under Article 51, any member state can declare can withdraw, can start the process of withdrawing. So Britain leaving the European Union is called succession. They succeeded from the European Union. So the reasons why Britain was able to succeed from the European Union, because European Union is a union of sovereign countries, and under the Union Charter, a sovereign country can decide to leave the Union for whatever reasons that is defined in the treaty. So unfortunately, Nigeria is not like that. Nigeria is a country, and even in Nigerian laws, self-determination is not even enshrined. Okay, that is the right to determine yourself is not even enshrined there at all. So Nigeria is like one entity. Nigeria is like a body. That's just the way Nigeria is. Your hand, your leg, every part is part of your body. You cannot chop it off. That's the way Nigerian constitution have said Nigeria is. So that means that whether you're an Igbo, Yoruba, Hausa, wherever you're from, the Nigerian constitution has said we are the same people. We are the same people. So finish. That there is no right for self-determination under Nigeria laws. Okay. So whether self-determination or succession, neither of these include any violent procedure. If you want to declare self-determination, it does not include any violent or threat or anything. It does not include that at all. There are legal processes that must be followed. And I have to say again and again that those legal processes does not include you killing people, disarming people, causing a chaos in the society. No, it does not include that. In fact, if you try to declare self-determination and you by that start killing people, you will be prosecuted and you'll be thrown in jail. So you can or one can self-determine themselves through a process, a legal process that has even been recognized, under international law. Okay, every member of the United Nations can adopt this doctrine of the international, so adopt this doctrine of the United Nations. They can adopt it in their locally, okay, where they see a need to. And again, a lot of people have argued with me, and I told them, look, just go and read international law. That you're a member of the United Nations does not necessarily mean you have to adopt that provision of the treaty in your local laws. Does not mean you have to adopt it, except it becomes necessary. Okay, and I'll explain how that becomes necessary. For instance, if the Nigerian Constitution now recognizes Nigeria as diverse units, that is different ethnics, then they cannot adopt that provision of international law of self-determination in its local laws. But Nigerian Constitution does not recognize Nigeria as different; it recognizes as one and the same. So they cannot adopt that. Yeah.
Metaphor. Sorry for the interruption. I want you to
Yes.
break down this explanation, because the way you are going, we understand, because Grandmaster said the same thing. But I want you to break it down in a way a common man on street of Anambra State, on a street of Ebonyi State, Enugu State will understand it better. Because if you say United Nations do this, it doesn't necessarily mean that Nigeria will adopt it. Then we may not understand it. Break it down if it's possible. Use broken to
Ikenga, Ikenga. Ị na-ekwubu na ndị IPOB amara ha nọrọ agụ Igbo.
But I want metaphor to break it down because this place is very, it's very important. You know why I asked him to do that for us? You see, we have for some years now we have been arguing. Oh, Nigeria is a signatory to the UN Charter that recognized the referendum, self-determination, secession, and blah 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 blah. So now, as a legal practitioner, you know it better. So I want you to explain it so we can understand it better. Just put it in a way, I don't know, you know how to put it better to make it understandable by everyone, whether educated or not. Please do that.
Okay, I will try my best. Yeah, I wish I could speak broken fluently, but it is simply like this: the United Nations is it's a union of all the countries in the world. Where they are united. That's why it's called United Nations, where they are all united, with their common, purpose for the globe, they discuss and all that. So that this union called United Nations, they have laws. Now, all the sovereign countries, all the sovereign member countries of the United Nations can adopt the laws of the United Nations locally if they need to. If they need to. Okay. Now let's just narrow now into self-determination that is enshrined under the United Nations Charter. Self-determination can be adopted by any member country of the United Nations if they need to adopt it. So what will arise that need locally? For instance, if the country now recognizes itself as different entities that come into one, then they can adopt that particular provision of the United Nations on self-determination for any entity. Unfortunately, Nigeria does not recognize itself as different entity that came into one. Nigeria constitution only recognizes Nigeria as one entity, that we are all the same. So they cannot adopt that provision of the United Nations on self-determination. That's why no entity, whether Hausa, Fulani, Yoruba, Igbo, TV, Benin, none of them can declare self-determination because the Nigeria constitution already recognizes all of us as the same. Boom, that's it. But are we the same? Are we the same? I think I'm going to leave that question for posterity. You see, because, and I also wanted to say this, that look, to tell you the truth, I see another civil war on the horizon because Nigeria have not fixed itself well at all. And this thing that we are playing with will ignite another civil war. I hope it doesn't, but we are going down that path again. Let me try to explain myself. You see, Nigeria only simply just need to just recognize all the sovereignty in its union. Just recognize all the sovereignty in its union. That's all it needs to do. And enshrine all of this sovereignty in its union in its law. Nigeria constitution just needs to be revised. The parliament just needs to sit down and revise it and recognize all of these entities. And when they are able to revise it and recognize all these different sovereign entities, then they will now adopt the international law, that provision of self-determination, they will now adopt it. Then an entity can self-determine themselves. Until that is done, unfortunately, any move for self-determination will be met by force. Will be met by force by the Nigerian government because it's not even enshrined in our laws. I don't know what I'm saying if it makes sense. Because this is what I'm just saying. I try to explain this to folks, but folks just don't seem to understand.
Metaphor, please. Hold on. Let me ask you this question. So that means if you must secede from Nigeria, it can only be through war. Is that what you're trying to say?
No, it must not only be through war. It mustn't only be through war. If any,
No, metaphor. I think what he means is that with this our current situation
I
now,
mean,
the current
yes, exactly. With the
the,
formation of
the current
Nigeria,
constitution now. Yeah, yeah. I believe you understand metaphor. With our current constitution we have currently now in Nigeria. Does that support any form of both self-determination or secession? That is what Ikenga is trying to get
yes, I
across.
understood
no,
that question the first time.
not that, no, not that actually, because he explained that part. According to him, none of this is in our constitution currently. So that means if anyone want to be free or to separate from Nigeria, the only way that person can do it is through war.
Officer, no, I understand the question you asked, and I'm going to explain very quickly. What you don't have to separate. No, but I'll give you an example. Czechoslovakia. Do you know that Slovak and Czech used to be one country before? There used to be Czechoslovakia, and I have all those documents on my table. When they were Czechoslovakia, they did not have any provision of the international law of self-determination. They didn't have any of that in their sovereign documents. But how did they separate or explain? You see, the process of self-determination, even though it is not indoctrinated in your local laws, you can take that appeal to the United Nations. You can take the appeal to the United Nations. You can start the process at the United Nations. So if there is an overwhelming support of that process from that people in that, for instance, I will give an example. Let me not use Igbo people because I'm tired of hearing this for you. Let's say the Fulani people of Nigeria. Let's say the Fulani people of Nigeria want self-determination, and it's not defined in Nigerian laws. And all these Fulani people need to do with their elite is take the appeal to the United Nations. And if there's an overwhelming support by the entire Fulani people in Nigeria for this mission, the United Nations will call the Nigerian government to a table and discuss. And they will begin to discuss with the Nigerian government. This is not something that will happen immediately. It takes some time because this is some sort of important meeting. It will take a while. And after a while of deliberation and negotiation and all that, and they will reach a resolution. That was how South Sudan was able, even after so many work, they finally arrived at the United Nations, something that they would have done without fighting. And I don't know why some people would like to fight before they come to reason. You don't have to fight. Just follow some process, and then you'll be able to achieve what you want to do. It may not happen immediately. But after a while, you would eventually get what you're looking for after proper negotiations through the United Nations and so on and so forth. So even if it's not enshrined locally, you can take the appeal to the United Nations. If there's an overwhelming support from that particular people, the United Nations will call the Nigerian government and sit down with them and begin the discussion. Yeah, that these people have declared their right under international law, to self-determine themselves and all that. And there's so many nuances that are involved and all that. And if all of those things check right, their self-determination will scale through. And the United Nations would put the burden on that government, you understand, to recognize them as an entity. So look, all I'm saying is that not a barrier of going need to be short in processes like this. Okay, if they just go through it properly and legally, it may be achieved. It may not happen immediately, but it may eventually be achieved. Okay, so the real issue with succession in Nigeria is one, it is not even enshrined in Nigerian law. So anybody that is looking for that will meet the Nigerian government. The Nigerian government will meet them with force. So the issue about self-determination, two, is not even enshrined in Nigerian laws. So anybody that's looking for that the Nigerian government will meet them with force. However, anybody that is looking for that first needs to get the overwhelming support of their people. And it should not include violence on their people. It should not include violence on their people. It should include negotiation, talks, from one region to the other of their region, discussion. It should encapsulate their entire people before the United Nations will even hear them. The entire people must be in support of it before the United Nations will hear them. And it also even involves some processes locally too. So, what am I trying to say? What I'm simply trying to say is this. The Nigerian constitution is one main problem Nigeria has. We all know that it was hammered down on us by the military, but I am even bothered that even after 24 years, the Nigerian parliament have not sat down to look at that constitution again and do some revision. But anybody that is looking for any sort of self-determination or succession under this current state, it's impracticable because even the Nigerian constitution does not have it. If they get an overwhelming support from their people, they can go and table the proposal at the United Nations, start from there. So you go from the United Nations back to the Nigerian government, and the United Nations will call the Nigerian government and start the discussion with them. Yeah. So that's all I have to say there about that. Sorry, I cannot speak on Nnamdi Kanu because we don't discuss sub judice. Processes in court, we don't discuss it at all. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. Metaphor, thank you so much. I think, Michael, you have the mic. Michael, go on. Then after we'll circle back to Obidi. You have something
No,
to
let
add?
Obidi go on.
Yeah,
Let
thank
Obidi
you,
go on.
thank you. Michael Chelu, Nakana, upon the Woka Kusioku to Perion, then the man Oblotolo. I mean, I'm so happy that this gentleman came and said a lot of things. And I'm happy that we were quiet, listening. That where it comes to education. Now, I don't want to take some time, but just a minute. The first thing that we did as human beings, we tagged on our fundamental human rights, which is grossly abused by the Nigerian. That's where all these things started. That's the problem we have. And even the people that are defending Nigeria today, you are human rights, just being a human. That's why I say, unless we are subhumans, then we're fundamental rights. This is not, it's not a law. It's just inalienable rights that are for you just being a human. But everything boils down to education. Thank you.
Yeah, Chinonso, go on.
Wait, oh, let me
Chinonso, you
ask
have the mic.
Metaphor question, if you can answer. Metaphor,
Okay. Okay, go on.
thanks for your submission. But I wanted to ask a question before, even before you came up. In this case of Nigerian situation with the Igbos in particular, some Igbos, not all, wanting a secession. What happens if tomorrow people of the South, the job people, like they did before us before, if they come up for their own sovereign nation, not involving the Igbo, their own as the states are now, as it is today, the states. What happens in that situation? Do you think the Biafra situation will still hold water with or without those
Okay,
people?
okay, Michael. Anybody that is asking for succession will not be responded to because succession is not a right. Succession is a process. Anybody asking for self-determination, the United Nations here will just stand up like a dog and listen. Because self-determination is a right. Succession is a process. Unfortunately, Nigeria is one. Nigeria is not. Nigeria is a whole that is divide has been undoctrinated. And let me just stop speaking big English. Nigeria na whole. You know, get divide. Sorry, my pidgin English is not too good. Sorry, guys. Nigeria na whole. You know, get divide. You know, get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You know, get any of it. Now just one whole boom like that. So there is no process to. It's just like say you want cut my hand, come out. You go pain me now, or you want cut my leg, come out. You go pain me now. That's how Nigeria be. So Nigeria no get any divide. Now so Nigeria constitution say we be the same one. So anybody where they talk say they want come out, if like say you want cut my hand, come out. That's the way Nigeria really is by its constitution. But anybody where they talk say they want succeed. There no law permits succession. There is no succession a process. No be right. But anybody where they look for self-determination, that one are right. And so if those South people say they want self-determination, although self-determination no dey our law, but if he cry go United Nations will hear them. And if all their people support them, United Nations will hear them call the Nigerian government. So Yamo will talk this matter. These people, they don't enact something where they United Nations law, how you stay Siam, how it be. Nigerian government will sit down, begin consult with all those South people, elite. Say, we not really want to do this. We are waiting, they make una vex. Moko sit down, look the matter. All those kind of things. And it not going to involve anybody, they shoot anybody,
Okay,
no shooting anywhere.
okay. That
Meta, just
accepted.
a second. Did you
Shalom.
just switch to Michael? Just a second. Did you just switch to pidgin English because you are talking about South people?
I'm trying, Grandmaster.
Uh,
I'm trying. And they try to explain. You guys are the block with big
which
English.
thing they try which guy agenda they try push for this place?
No,
You
no,
want
no.
me to say our South Sudan understand English? I'm waiting.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
Did they
I'm just trying
understand?
to explain
No,
something.
no,
If
no,
there's any
no.
English you are the globe, it
Grandmaster,
don't
I'm the
make
one who
sense.
asked him to speak English.
Did they understand English? So, my follow-up question to what you just said. You know, as Nigeria is now, there are state borders, there are regional borders, not enshrined in the law as regional borders. But we know this state make up this region, this state make up the region. If any of these parties decide to go to the United Nations, are they going with the current borders as it is now? Or will we start to look at it as from the ethnicity that I belong to this place or I don't belong to this place? How exactly is this achievable?
Okay, it can only be achieved by ethnicity, and at least the first republic regional system. Because Nigeria right now is sort of sectorized by states and states. So, and I know that, for instance, the Yoruba people encapsulate a number of states in the west of Nigeria. So, and if one wants to even take this kind of thing to the United Nations, they have to go by ethnicity or the First Republic region system. That's the only thing that can really make sense. Because one state in Nigeria cannot just declare self-determination. No, they
But
can't.
the ethnicity, as we all know, some people are saying they are this, while others say they are not. There is this argument that I am from you, no, you are not from you. I belong to you, no, I don't belong to you, as it is today. And none of them will want anybody to
That
carve
is
into
why
their
it's
region.
called self-determination. So first of all comes the agreement, and then comes self-determination. Self-determination simply means
Thank
that
you, my brother.
people
Thank
will
you, my
choose
brother.
to align with who they want to align with. They will decide for themselves.
And that goes
You
back to
understand?
calling for a referendum.
It all ends with a referendum. So you see the reason why I am mostly, antagonistic towards IPOB. How much are effect? You understand? Sorry, Mike, if you can mute your mic. How much are effect? Because sorry, Mike, if you can mute your mic, please. So because I will tell you categorically that everybody in Nigeria is tired of Nigeria. They are looking for a way out or an alternative to Nigeria. Eh? But what they are doing, it is a Western standoff. Who is going to pull their gun first? They understand how volatile Nigeria is. That the moment you decide to declare secession in any way, shape, or form, that region or that area will be flooded with Nigerian soldiers because Nigeria doesn't want to lose its territory. But others are not doing it. Let me give you a news flash. Do you know that Boko Haram is a secessionist group? Are you aware?
Everybody knows that.
Thank you very much. They are a secessionist group because they want to establish an Islamic nation by cutting off a territory of Nigeria. Okay? Now, if you come to the southwest, there is the Yoruba nation, to not to be confused with the conservatives, right? The conservatives are Tinubu lapdogs. I'm talking about the Yoruba nation that is led by people like Sunday Igboho. They want to leave the country. They are secessionists. Even in the middle belt, they are secessionist groups. Just that none of them have the courage, or none of them has the courage to put it out there. Not only Ndi Igbo that wants to go on this journey a second time. And you look at Nigeria as Nigeria stands today, you know your situation in this country. And you want to be the person that continuously wants to bail the cat. Why the rest of the people sit back and watch you being used as a lab rat? That is the problem. And if you want to have a this, if there so the secession is not even a word. If Nigeria is going to end, it will be mutual breakup. It will be mutual breakup. Everybody will agree that they are tired of Nigeria and they decide that okay, we can it's no longer workable. Just like a divorce, everybody goes their own way. But you see this thing that IPOB is doing. I will break away from Nigeria by force. I will leave our region. Leave our region. Don't come to our region again. If we see you in our region, we will continue to attack you. It will never succeed because that is secession. And there is no nation, even the United States, does not allow secession. As much as the United States is a union, if you want to leave that union, there must be agreements amongst the other states in the union that you can be let to go. You can't just leave. That is why whenever conservatives are not in power, Texas will start threatening, we will leave America. For where?
Grandmaster, let me just quickly punch this in. If you want to leave the union, it must first be enshrined in their laws. And so
Yes,
anybody that
but
wants to leave
even
must
the
be
US
enshrined in
no
their
get no
laws.
get referendum for there. They
That,
no
and
get
that,
referendum.
yeah,
US no get referendum.
yeah, Grandmaster, and that's why it be difficult because first he has to go through the Congress. They have to
That is the
actually
thing I'm
enshrine it
saying
in their
now.
laws.
Meta, hold on now, make I land this point. That is what I've been saying. Look at the European Union. European Union enshrined in their charter that any member state can leave the union at their own will whenever they want to. As long as there's an overwhelming agreement amongst the people that the people want to leave the union, they will leave. It is there. If you go to the European Union Charter, you will see it there. That is why
Article
places like
51.
yes, Article 51. Sorry, that is the reason why places like UK could leave without any problem. All they needed to do was to do their own referendum at home, and then they leave. Nigeria does not have such a line. Nigeria is not even a union. That is even the problem. The way you can look at EU as independent countries that came together to form a union that still retain their sovereignty to a certain degree, but maybe creating a central parliament in Brussels that runs some certain international affairs that affect all the states. Nigeria is not that kind of thing. Nigeria is a country of different people. So if you want that secession, or if sorry, let me even say, if you want to go your own way, you will first of all have to toe the line of process. That was why I asked Mr. Obien, what is the process? Because from my best of my understanding, to leave Nigeria today is impossible. So if you want to leave Nigeria, first you have to start with amending the constitution. You first of all have to put referendum there to give the people the right to decide whenever they want, if they are tired of the union or they want something different, right? In the 1999 constitution. And how do you get it? By electing members of House, of Parliament, that will go there and raise this thing as a bill, as a topic, as an issue. The way Ned Nwoko is raising the issue of Anioma. He knew that the chances were slim, but then he went out there, raised it, and started negotiating. When you raise such a bill, maybe because there are some other groups across this country that are also looking forward to maybe leaving the country, maybe you can be able to convince them to also vote for this bill, and a referendum will be added to the constitution. Then you can exploit the referendum to make your case. Anything outside that is just you setting your people up for slaughter. Because Nigeria is not going to sit back and watch you just break away from their territory and then call it a day. They will not do it. Thank you very much.
Can I speak now?
Uh, yeah, so go on. Then we'll come back to Obid, Mazi Obid. Thank you.
I would still want to talk about this IPOB issue, but let me first say this. Based on what Ogbeni TV said, the thing is this: I've said it before. After the Abori Accord, to me, in the words of Chinua Achebe, if you read the book, there was a country. There was something he said that was spectacular. It was like Gowon and Ojukwu probably they were not the right people to have led that period during that darkest moment of our history that led to loss of death and the war. And he was right because to me, after the Aburi Accord, the both of them started acting like babies. The Aburi Accord that Ojukwu actually signed in for would have led to Biafra within 3 weeks. That's the truth. Gowon went back, he rejected it, and he now came with Decree 8. In that Decree 8, if Ojukwu have maybe took his time to look at that Decree 8, it will have still led to Biafra in 3 months' time. That's the truth. But everybody at that point was just like having their personality clash that they're not actually seeing that the things they haven't offering to each other in a way was even secession. And then they start itching for war, doing some kind of funny things, and it led to the war. But let's leave that aside. Now, my issue is this. This IPOB thing that they're always talking about, other people are forgiving their own brothers, like, and then they are integrating them back into the society. That we, the Igbos, we should also advocate that our brothers should be reintegrated. They should also, instead of us saying that our brothers are the criminals, those terrorists that they want to call as these IPOB people, that we should also advocate for the same treatment. But there's something they should. Zulum, the governor of Borno State, Zulum, Governor Zulum, he was born in Malfa. There was this local government they call Malfa town. That was where he was born. But he's from Zulum. He's from a town called Zulum in Mongono local government. This same Zulum that is advocating for reintegration of Boko Haram members that have repented, he has not gone to his village for over 3 or 4 years. His place is being inhabited by Boko Haram terrorists. That is one. Senator Mongono from Borno State is also from Mongono local government. He has not been to his village for the past 4 or 5 years. It's under Boko Haram. The agricultural minister, Abubakar Kyari, is from Gashera in Borno State. He has not been to his local government area for the past 4 or 5 years. Boko Haram is in control of his local government. Ndume is from Goza local government. That's Senator Ndume. At least that one has come out to say he's against them. He came out and said he completely opposed granting amnesty to Boko Haram. He has always said that. I think he's from the Wahad tribe or something like that. Goza local government has not gone there for the past 8 years or thereabouts. So now, these people that they are now, the people that are advocating for this, then on that person is this Yobe State governor. This guy, Haruna, what's his name? He's from Bini Yadi or something like that in Yobe State. He has not been to his town for like some few years now. It's under Boko Haram authority. Now you now ask yourself, if they are granting amnesty to these people and their communities are still dangerous, then why should I be advocating for criminals and terrorists? I think to be granted amnesty, knowing that, looking at those other places where they are granting amnesty and see that it's not safe, then why should I also be advocating for criminals and terrorists? Because, like the IPOB terrorists want to say they're your brothers, that they should be granted that same amnesty. And then you grant, I should actually want that in my own place. Because if you check, it doesn't make sense. I do not want my place to be like Borno. I do not want my place to be like Katsina. I do not want my place to be like Sokoto. So that's why I'll keep on saying it here. If any of my so-called brothers, like they want to say, has terrorist tendencies, he has shown them in their actions and their utterances, I do not mind if the full arm of the law is brought upon them. The full arm of justice is brought upon them. You cannot play that reverse psychology with me. I wouldn't like that reverse psychology, because people are doing this in this place and it's not yielding any results. There's no positive result that is coming out of it. Then you want me to also kill that same line. To me, that reverse psychology would never work. I want my region to be the way it was from 2012 to 2020, when it was the safest region. I want my region to be the way it was before America now listed 4 states in the Southeast and issued warnings to their citizens that they should not go to those 4 states in the Southeast because of acts of terrorism. Things that they only do to the Northeast and places like Katsina, Sokoto, and some of the creeks area in the South, with all those creek sea areas. Those are the only places they highlight and issue warnings that their citizens should not go to. So I want my region back to the way it is. So if it means flushing out the terrorists, I do not care if people are trying to play tribalism with it. I will feel better That is why I do not give in to any IPOB sentimental propaganda or emotional propaganda of, oh, they're holding my brothers and then they are releasing their own. Releasing their own has not made their community safe. It has only made it more dangerous. The other day, Boko Haram outrun Mati local government in Borno State. They destroyed all the old trucks, even the MRAP. There's this MRAP, this anti-mine resistant vehicle, which was designed by Igbo man, Major General Ezugo, who is the commander of the infantry division. He was not actually designed that MRAP. They destroyed all those MRAP, their trucks, the guns they can cater, they've catered away with it. Under 5 months, 300 soldiers in Borno has lost their life. I do not want that kind of scenario to play out in the southeast. I do not want that kind of scenario to play out in the southeast. That's why I'll always keep on condemning Nnamdi Kanu and the evils and the ills he started in the southeast. I saw this thing coming. I saw lots of semblance of Boko Haram when he started this thing. But because of we have lots of people that are captured by emotions, they couldn't actually see it. So like I'll keep on saying, time revealed all truths. And in the end, we will learn from our history, we will learn from our mistake. And I'm happy that some of us are learning from it. Yes, some of us made a mistake when we initially supported these things. But at least the good thing about human nature is that when you learn from your mistake, you try to change and you try to be a better person. And you come out to condemn that thing and you do everything it takes to make sure you're fighting the same evil that you supported, maybe out of ignorance or something like that. So I am happy that we have lots of people that are now actually fighting the menace of these terrorists in our region. So thank you very much. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mazi. Mazi, you have the mic. Mazi Obi.
Yeah, thank you once again, and I believe this is the last time I speak because my day is running. But anyway, I don't know where to start. The gentleman that came here and lectured so his things, gave us highlights on issues of self determination and secession. I appreciate that. Not that I don't know what he's talking about, but at the same time, I have a question on when he said that Nigeria is a whole. I don't know from um, you know, what prism he's talking that. I can believe that partially, but needs more explanation. But we do know that Nigeria is not a whole. Everything they are doing today, and I guess he posed the question that he's not supposed to answer the question, and this is where uh, I took exceptions. Okay, because a lot of us here knows exactly. Some of us understands what is going on. A lot of us are just beginning to understand what is going on. But the point is that anytime we get it, also we talk about this Ujuku them, all these people, and I have mentioned sometimes. I say these guys are not whatever. They were in their 20s, 30s. Okay, Hannah, they stand for people. They fight for people. Ihe na-agbazi mmadụ bụ na this generation anyị nọ n'ime kịta amaghị onwe ebe fa ya nụba anụba. They don't know where to start their fight. They are fighting everybody. And some of us are in our 30s and 40s. Let me excuse people on 50s. Let me excuse the people in the 60s because they're probably getting a little bit weaker. What is your stand today? Or just so, ka a na-ekwu okwu na social media. Okay, that's my question for all. Now, I have said time without numbers here that Nnamdi Kanu did not start this agitation. This agitation started on the basis of self determination. And the precursors usually for self determination is where there is a gross violation of the individuals or a particular sect, the gross violation of their human rights. Okay, by the authorities. So before you go to self-determination, I have mentioned the people that are involved, and I'm going to mention it again. The Chief Justices also late Ikedi. There's so many of them. Emeka silly them. Name them. Chief Justice Akuchieze here in Chicago. Men that understand these processes. We came out for self-determination. That's when I heard them. I heard that these people are talking about issues concerning us and they're asking the federal government to allow us for self-determination. And self-determination, I run our thing the way it suits our people. We are not, nobody was talking about all this secession, okay? And for a government to do that, there will be referendum because the referendum is just like a vote to see who are in support of this proposal. Okay, so that's what happened. That's what I know. It's just for us to determine our political status and pursue our economic, social, and cultural development in Igbo land. Or, by the way, for the indigenous people of Biafra, that's where the name you hear IPOB. Now, for the people who are just joining, who are just beginning to feel the heat of the mayhem and atrocity that Nnamdi Kanu and cohorts is causing in our land now, is generalizing the term IPOB. But for us, we know that they are IPONCs, indigenous people of Nnamdi Kanu. You can't get calls them the struggling people because there's no way to. I am as if I just to differentiate because they are not full representation of the indigenous people. And I know that this gentleman that came in here also made emphasis to tell if we want a self-determination, it's gonna be based on ethnicity. Because 2 days ago, I think Michael was going forth and back with this last speaker about the proximity of their village. The guy na Choko Michael, no, but they keep going forth and back. I was listening anonymously that day. So the thing was that Nnamdi Kanu is not IPOB. The group that is doing now is not IPOB. Nnamdi Kanu is not the author of IPOB. It's just that through the years, he was able to blackmail everybody. And a lot of people don't understand what he was doing because he will pray in the loudest voice. He will speak the truth, but within him, he was a very evil man. And nobody knew. When you see all this support that were showered to him, or at a point now, it translates to the supreme leader of indigenous people of Biafra. It's nothing else. It's just that people supported and loved what he was saying. Nobody asked for cessation. If you recall, during the interview with this northern lady in 2017, Oma Benia, he wasn't saying anything about secession. Okay, but it got to a point now. Some of these people that don't know what is going on are now attaching secession. Some of them are even saying referendum without understand what referendum means. They don't. Okay, because they don't even know how it's going to happen. And we can have multiple referenda through these processes. ebidogodu kpokọba ndị kweta na that same group a na-anapụ their fundamental human rights. That's where all these things started. When the struggle was hijacked by this flavor, I call him, Oluwabi maybe, Oluoma, and he went back to this group that have refused to speak to our people. That's why we all saw it and we started shouting. A na-ekwu okwu Biafra, ọ bụ ọla Biafra ka a na-egbu ndị be anyị? Under ESN, East Central Security Network. East Central City or part of the agitation if we are asking for self-determinations for the indigenous people of Biafra, not secession. Makana Mombro isn't in an opener. A lot of people just came in yesterday, and even no matter what you tell them, they're still on one mindset. They are not trying to look at other aspects of these things. Okay, so it is not. Nobody was asking for secession. It started out as requests, and they just got to know where I'm worry that I came in. Then all of a sudden, we were told that the people who were going to court, were too slow for us, that we need to take it higher. And then they were dismissed on the radio as the Council of Elders. And what bothers me is that through this time, none of all these intellectuals that are speaking now, that some of them that are advising us on what to do, none of them came out openly to say, "No, stop, this is not the way to go about." And I've said it here. If I have four of me, Nandi couldn't have stolen this thing in the name of ESN because we had a face-off, but I was only one voice, which MFO was there as well when he was taking us the other way around. That's when he mobilized his cohorts, mobilized both World Igbo Congress, Mandesina Habo, priest. None of you know about this. Monday, one man, Father, the member has with 50 priests in New York. Kedu ife iche ụmụ bingo ya eme mgbe fa nọ na 50 priests nọ na United States na support fa ndị World Igbo Congress pụtasị na ọnwa fa nwoke si gaba n'iru a na-eme vidio na-egosi unu anyị nọrọ ebe anyị nọ na-eti na-asị Nnamdi biko check into a mental health institution na arụ adịrọgọ na ife ị na-eme nwere ebe oyi duga anyị. Okay, so the point bụ na onye na-anọrọ ebe a nọ n'ozu na-ebido n'ụkwụ. For the past 4 years, what has been my message is to stop this incitement, stop killing our people, stop this incitement. But I was not being heard. I put any instruction, don't go to his page and listen. So they don't share my program, nothing.